What is up, wrestling fans? I am Jason Burgos. I have the pleasure of being joined by not only a very talented wrestler, but a man that will get to showcase his first passion during Miami Art Week at the NADA Miami booth, and that is AEW veteran and current Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Moriarty. Senor Lee, thanks so much for the time today.
What's up? How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm fantastic. So everyone knows you for your success in professional wrestling in companies like GCW, Rise, Ring of Honor, AEW, like I mentioned. But the press release that kind of set up this interview claimed that your first love was always as being an artist. So talk to me about how far back your love for art goes and how long you've been practicing artist.
Yeah, I've been an artist for as long as I can remember.
Wow.
I remember as a kid, my dad would get me VHS of Dragon Ball Z. I would learn to draw those, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Game Informer magazines, all those things. I would teach myself to draw from there. And then as I got older, I learned graphic design and how to do that. I would design my own t-shirts for pro wrestling and things like that. Or I would design t-shirts and stuff for other people. And that's how I would fund myself getting through professional wrestling at an early start. But it was around when I was 12 years old, I discovered wrestling on TV, and that's when I decided I wanted to do this. And the reason I chose pro wrestling is because it helps me express myself in a way that no other sport can.
So at the NADA exhibit where your work can be seen, your art showcases, as the release mentioned, the duality of wrestling, where it's men in wrestling mats doing kind of just everyday life stuff. And it's really, really cool stuff. What was the inspiration for this kind of particular art that you're working on? And has it been like this particular style, this particular idea, this concept? Is it something you've been working on for a very long time, or is more recent for this event?
Yeah, I think it was subconscious in a way that it went the direction that it did. When I first started to paint again, it was 2-3 years ago. When I was younger in high school, I didn't really like painting because I couldn't control how things turned out. Now I'm more mature and understand painting and art. It's not necessarily about controlling, it's letting the art take you where it wants to go.
Okay.
And I first painted Jushin Thunder Liger with a suit on because one of my favorite aesthetics in wrestling is masked wrestlers, luchadors, and suits. I think that's such a unique and cool aesthetic.
Yeah.
So I would go through that and I would paint these nature backgrounds because I'm from Pittsburgh, which is a very industrial city. Then I moved to Tampa, Florida, which is very tropical.
Yeah.
So I experienced nature and things so differently for the first time, and I learned how much more I appreciate these things. So I wanted to put those in my paintings. As time grew, I started painting luchadors, playing tennis, grilling, walking their dogs, and things like that, because there's another side of professional wrestlers that's more violent. I'm a very closed-in, calm, peaceful guy. I just like peace. I like chilling, relaxing, and just having a good time in a very subdued manner, and that's what is expressed in this art.
Is it become that, like, because you're mentioning, peaceful, has it become like almost like a therapeutic? Yeah, you love it and it's something you like to do, but just because of what wrestling is and what it takes and the physicality and presenting violence, stuff like that, it really hasn't become like something that's therapeutic that you do just to really separate yourself from that world that kind of you're engrossed in.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that helps create a balance in my life. Professional wrestling is something where I'm traveling everywhere. I'm active. I'm busy. I'm competing. It's loud. It's aggressive. It's physical. Whereas art is something that I do in my home.
Yeah.
It's quiet. It's calm. I play my music. I relax and I go at my own pace. With wrestling, you're on a schedule based on when the show starts and things like that. Art, it's just at my own time, and I take my time with what I create. Sometimes my paintings take a month. Sometimes they take 2 based on my travel schedule. But yeah, it's a balance. Wrestling balances my art. Art balances my wrestling.
Have you had your work on display at galleries or exhibits and stuff like that before? Or is this a new kind of experience? And are there added nerves to it? For a person that's been on national television, is there like a nervousness now much more of the world is going to see that kind of side of you that they haven't seen before?
Yeah, this is my first time having my art displayed anywhere. My art has never been outside of my living room. So it's a very new experience that I'm very nervous and excited about, because in wrestling, you go through the curtain, you know how people feel because they're going to make noise, they're going to chant, cheer, clap, boo, whatever they do. You can see and feel their expressions and their energy. And art, you don't necessarily know what people are thinking because it's a different environment. When you're in an art gallery, you're not screaming, you're not chanting, you're not cheering. So you have to learn and read people's faces if you're there and if you're not. But overall, people tend to appreciate art. It's just going to be a completely new experience that I haven't felt yet. So there's a lot of butterflies.
What would you say? What's the thing you most are hoping people take away from this? Is this sort of, just fun, trying something new, or is there part of you that, maybe this is a career path? Because wrestling is so brutal and so tough, and you never know what can happen, and you always have to prepare for life after, and you're far from that. But is that this like a career path, and you're dipping your toes in the water, or just really is just for fun and just trying something new?
When I started it was just for fun. I had the goal of, being in an exhibit at some point, but I never thought it would be at this level. That's huge, especially for the first thing. Like Adam helping set it up made it a realistic possibility. But I don't think I'll ever lessen my time in wrestling for art just because of how much I love wrestling. Like art allows me to express myself on a canvas, but wrestling allows me to express myself in so many more different ways. Like in the ring, it's also called a canvas. So we're competing on that. The Titantron, or whatever you call it, the Jumbotron screens, one of the graphics I created, the tiger, I designed that. So that's my expression. My entrance jacket, I paint my own jackets when it says Tiger Style on the sleeve, and other levels they've done. I've done a special Bruce Lee one for one of the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. There are levels that I can express myself through professional wrestling in a different way that I can't necessarily do with a painting, but that doesn't mean I don't love them both.
Yeah.
I love pro wrestling so much, I can't see myself stepping away for art.
Do your coworkers, be either wrestlers or people backstage over the years, do they know about this being such a serious passion, and have any of them, either purchased your art or been gifted your art during your life?
Some of them knew because they knew me from the independents and things like that, or followed me online. So they knew I was an artist. I didn't start painting until I was in AEW, I think. So a lot of people discovered that, he can paint. It wasn't even until like just recently I posted me painting a process of this luchador swimming. And a lot of people came up to me like the following day and like, hey, you're really good at this and things like that. I haven't sold anything yet just because I've been saving these paintings for NADA in Miami, but I've had offers. But they've been so supportive. The entire locker room, the staff, management, AEW have been extremely supportive of this chapter in my life, and I'm very grateful for that.
When you get these offers, is it like, whoa, that's a lot more than I thought? Or because you're a person that's been around art, you're like, all right, it's not as much as I've heard that art can get and all this kind of thing, but it's still pretty cool.
It's very different because graphic design, it's usually go based off market value and things like that. So you kind of know what a price for a design is. I've never sold paintings. So to find out how much a painting can be priced for is mind-blowing because it was for fun for me. So the money's a bonus, but just the idea that people see a value in my paintings that's that high is very humbling.
So now let's talk wrestling career. I got a few questions on this. So there are some fans that have grown a bit frustrated with AEW and how they use talent. I feel like you're a perfect example. They signed you 2021, but over the last couple of years, you've been used a little bit more in Ring of Honor. Now, Ring of Honor, great brand, important brand. You're a champion there. That's fantastic. But has there ever been a feeling like, I was signed to be in AEW and, that's not really happening so much? Or are you more a guy because you're still young in your career, midway kind of through, and you got so many years left? It's like, I just like being active. And if it means being active in Ring of Honor, I'm fine with that.
I'm all about wrestling and making the most of every opportunity. AEW gives you the opportunity, whether that's in the ring, whether that's a promo, whether that's media. I've done community outreach events. I just want to give back to professional wrestling because that's what I was taught. Leave professional wrestling better than how you found it. Okay. So it's very important to be selfish, more than selfish at times and things like that. And also AEW gives me the opportunity to do things like this. I'll be in Miami from December 3rd to I think the 6th. This event is December 3rd through 7th, and I'm flying out to Columbus for the next event. Okay. And that's because AEW supports what I'm doing. So I'm very grateful.
There's been a lot of rumors about what like the creative process in AEW is like. What's your experience been like in AEW when it comes to creative and storylines and your character? Are there, a lot of staff constantly working with talent to progress their characters weekly? Or is it more like the talent are allowed to come up with their own things, figure it out, and they pitch? What's your experience been like when it comes to that kind of stuff?
AEW gives us the creative freedom to express ourselves how we want. Same with my art. I have this freedom to express myself, and that's why you see this vision of Lee Moriarty. That's why you see Tiger Styles, because that is who I am, and they help me elevate that. So my entrance screen, I had a mock-up idea that I got the inspiration from Man with the Iron Fist, a kung fu movie with Wu-Tang members. I sent that to them. They enhanced it 10 times, made it so much better, like lighting and things like that, or editing. And that helped increase my presentation. When I walk to the ring, I sit down in a chair like a boxer, take off my mask. That's because AEW helped create the idea to enhance just something as simple as me taking off a mask. In the creative process, there's people backstage that want to help us. They do help us. And that's not just management, that's the other wrestlers. That's Moxley, that's Orange Cassidy, that's Claudio, that's Nigel McGuinness, that's Brian Danielson when he was there. That's so many people, and I'm grateful for that. All aspects of AEW from top to bottom.
Like, you're only 30. You're not even like in wrestler prime yet. You're still like pre-wrestler prime in a lot of ways. Like, what motivates you at this point in your career? Is it, like you said, like it's just being selfless and just giving back to the sport? Like, do you foresee yourself being the type of person like, look, I'm here to be a world champion. I want to be in the top spot. I want to make the most money as possible. Or it's like being selfless, enjoying work, and AEW pays you quite well enough to do that, and that's just fine.
Obviously, I want to go as far as I possibly can. That's world championships, that's main eventing, pay-per-views, that's all those things. But I'm also very realistic when it comes to timelines. I'm not rushing things. I've been in AEW for 3 years. This is my first time on a national stage. I'm less than 10 years into professional wrestling. I have less than 500 matches.
Yeah.
I think you cannot rush greatness, and I'm taking everything I can and learning from that and growing so that when these opportunities come, I'm ready to knock it out of the park. It's not a race, or it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
And yes, professional wrestling, we're taught make as much money as you can, as fast as you can. And that's a goal for sure. But like I said before, the most important thing is leaving professional wrestling better than how you found it, because I want there to be opportunities for people coming up that are just like me. There are people that look like me coming up. There are people from Pittsburgh coming up that are working hard to get to that next level, and I want to make sure they have an option and opportunity, and that comes with helping AEW, Ring of Honor, and all professional wrestling grow.
Now, you signed, like I mentioned, 2021. I mean, based off a lot of other wrestlers and how it seems like AEW contracts work, I mean, it seems like you'd probably be coming in that spot where your contract might be coming up. Are you, is your contract up soon in 2025, or are you still locked in to AEW for quite a long time?
I'm locked in and I'm focused with AEW. I'm not really worried about anything else other than just doing the best I can with that and doing what I can with my art. And that's what I was saying. I'm just grateful for AEW for allowing me to still be an artist, still be creative, and help grow that side of me as a person. That's why, they're letting me do NADA Miami.
Yeah.
They're letting me grow and do these things because it's also beneficial for professional wrestling, because now we're mixing the community of art and professional wrestling even more and more, just like Adam's Orange Crush magazine does.
And it's, based off of what you're saying and stuff like that, because again, you're very talented, have a lot of skills, a lot of skill sets and abilities, and you're still not even in your prime yet. Because it's an AEW, WWE, TNA is doing really good things, New Japan, all these really good companies, going into free agency is great. It's as good as now as ever, because you can really get your value. But because of everything you've said, their willingness to let you do the art and really be, hands-on with your character, is there a loyalty to AEW that's not really even a thought? Oh, they go to all these companies. Like, even when contract time comes around, you really enjoy being a part of this company and want to keep staying a part of this company.
Yeah, I want to help AEW grow. I want to, just like they're helping me with my art grow, I want to help. I think that's a way of helping pro wrestling grow. There's different avenues, and there's places you can call home. I can call AEW home, and that's what I want to do. I want to help them grow just like they've helped me grow as a professional wrestler and an artist.